Good evening, everybody. It is about 5 p.m. on Friday. I just got home from art class and hanging out with my friend Kate. We did our usual downtown errands, library, browsing at the bookstore. So I have a library haul and some reviews to share with you today on books that I have been reading. We will start with the haul first because it's a small haul. And I did not intentionally mean for that to rhyme. So, the first book I'm going to be reading this time around is If the Shoe Fits, the first book in the Meant to Be series. I have already read books 2 and 3 in this series by the book, which is based on Beauty and the Beast, and Kiss the Girl, which is based on The Little Mermaid. This is the first book in this modernized version of Disney movies series by Julie Murphy. It's called If the Shoe Fits, and it's a Cinderella retelling, and I will tell you what it is about. Cindy loves shoes. A well-placed bow on a chic stacked heel is her form of self-expression. As a fashion-obsessed plus-size woman, she can never find designer clothes that work on her body, but a special pair of shoes always fit just right. With a shiny new design degree, but no job in sight, Cindy moves back in with her stepmother, Erica Tremaine, the executive producer of the world's biggest reality dating show. When a slot on Before Midnight needs filling at the last minute, Cindy is thrust into the spotlight. Showcasing her killer shoe collection on network TV seems like a great way to jumpstart her career, and while she's at it, why not go in for a few lavish dates with an eligible suitor? But being the first and only plus-size contestant on Before Midnight turns her into a viral sensation and a body positivity icon overnight. Even harder to believe, she can actually see herself falling for this Prince Charming. To make it to the end, despite the backhanded compliments, conniving procedures, and a house full of fellow contestants, she's not sure who she can trust. Cindy will have to take a leap of faith and hope her heels and her heart don't break in the process. Best-selling author Julie Murphy's reimagining of a beloved fairy tale is an enchanting story of self-love and of believing in the happy ending that every one of us deserves. So I'm very excited to read this Cinderella retelling, and the fact that she's into fashion kind of gives off vibes of Rachel from Friends. So I'm excited to read this book. The next book that I got out of the library today is And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie. Shout out to Haley Pham. I saw this book on her Reading Like Rory Gilmore for a Week video, and I decided to pick it up at the library today because I have never read it. And she also recommended The Picture of Dorian Gray, which my friend Kathleen and I will be listening to the audiobook of starting on the 23rd, the next time we get together to watch Gilmore Girls. The next book is Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë. I have never read this book before. You would think it would be required reading in high school, but I guess in Sauhegan, our teachers never really put this on required reading. So, funny you should wonder how I heard about this book. If you guys have seen the episode of Friends, the one with Ross's sandwich, Phoebe and Rachel take a literature class at the new school, and this is one of the books that they discussed in their literature class. So I have actually never read this book and don't really know much about what it's about, so I'm very excited to read it. The next two books, I'm going to be doing a review video with my friend Kate at Kate Has Too Many Books on Instagram. We are going to be doing a buddy review of these books, and we're going to be meeting next week to talk about when we're going to do our buddy review, if we're going to do a video or if we're just going to do a written review. These books are both by V.E. Schwab. This first book is called This Savage Song, and this other one is called This Violent Duet. So as somebody who's really into theater and music, I think I'm going to really like both of these books, and I can't wait to get started with reading them. Finally, I was looking through the fiction section of the library, and I came across this book. I have never heard of this author before, but I'm wondering if she's related to one of my friends I did theater with in college. The reason why I wonder that is because her last name looks familiar. My friend's name is Rachel. This author's name is Caroline Kepnes. So Rachel, if you watch this video, I'm wondering if this is your cousin. So just let me know, because I think it's cool that she's a writer. I never knew that. And this show is also apparently a Netflix series. It's called For You and Only You. So I'm excited to get started with this. Now into my reading, my TBR updates. I'm going to review the books that I have finished. This first book is called Now You See Us. I saw this in the featured section at the library for Black History Month, and I decided to give it a shot. It was very good. I will read to you what it's about. Corazon, Danita, and Angel are Filipino domestic workers, part of the wave of women sent to Singapore to be cleaners, maids, and caregivers. Carranza, a veteran domestic worker, Cora has retired back to the Philippines for good, but she has returned to Singapore under mysterious circumstances. Now keeping a secret from her wealthy employer, who is planning an extravagant wedding for her socialite daughter. Danita, barely out of her teens, Danita is in Singapore for the first time, and she's had the bad luck to be hired by the notoriously fussy Mrs. Van Brazen. And exuberant Danita's thrown herself into a love affair with an Indian migrant worker. Angel, working as an in-home caregiver for an elderly employer, Angel is feeling blue after a recent breakup with the woman she loves. She's alarmed when her employer's son suddenly brings in a new nurse who may be a valuable ally or who may be meant to replace her. Then, an explosive news story shatters Singapore's famous tranquility and sends a chill down the spine of every domestic worker. Flordelizia Martinez, a Filipina maid, has been arrested for murdering her female employer. The three women don't know the accused well, but she could be any of them. Every worker knows stories of women who were scapegoated or even executed for crimes that they didn't commit. Shocked into action, Danita, Carranza, and Angel will use their considerable moxie and insight to piece together the mystery of what really happened on the day Flordelizia's employer was murdered. But after all, no one knows the streets of Singapore's families well like the women who work in their homes. So this book was really interesting. It's a really fun murder mystery, and I do not want to spoil the ending, so I'm not going to say what happened. On Goodreads, I gave this book 3.5 to 4 stars. The next book is by Colton Whitehead. It's called Harlam Shuffle. I got this book out of the library on Tuesday afternoon, and I finished it last night. So this book was really good. I really enjoyed this historical fiction book that is set in 1960s New York about people in a drug cartel. It's not something I usually read a lot about, so it was very intriguing, and this author's writing is just so engaging and keeps you guessing about what's going to happen next. So I saw another book of his today when I went to the library, and when I go next time to bring this book and the other 2 books back, then I will definitely be picking that up. The next 2 books I'm reading are by Katherine Center. I first started reading her books back in December when I read How to Walk Away and The Bodyguard, and then in January I read Hello Stranger. Her writing is so good, and she does such a good job of writing rom-com couples and their banter, just like Emily Henry does. She also paints a realistic depiction of people who have disabilities. Like Hello Stranger is about somebody with facial blindness. In this book, What You Wish For, the lead character has a seizure disorder, and her mother also, spoiler alert briefly, her mother also gets diagnosed with a brain tumor. So she just does a really great job of writing people with disabilities very realistically. How to Walk Away is also a good example of how she does this, because How to Walk Away is about a girl who gets injured in a plane crash and suffers from paralysis. So that is her story about how she overcomes all of her challenges with going to physical therapy. So I gave both What You Wish For and Things That You Save in a Fire 4 stars on Goodreads, just because I love anything she writes. I eat it up, much like I do with Emily Henry. I've loved all of her books too. And also, I also read Yours Truly by Abby Jimenez in about 2 or 3 days. Things That You Save in a Fire is about a firefighter. Her name is Cassie. Cassie Howell was born to handle emergencies. As one of the only female firefighters in her Texas firehouse, she's seen her fair share of them, and she's a total pro at managing other people's tragedies. But when her estranged and ailing... Oh, okay. I mixed up What You Wish For with this book. Oh, man. Okay. The tough... But when her estranged and ailing mother asked to give up her whole life and move to Boston, Cassie suddenly has an emergency of her own. The tough old-school Boston firehouse is as different from Cassie's old job as it could possibly be. Hazing, a lack of funding, and poor facility means that the firemen aren't exactly thrilled to have a lady on the crew, even one as competent and smart as Cassie, except for the infatuation-inspiring rookie who doesn't seem to mind having Cassie around. But she can't think about that, because love is girly and not her thing. And don't forget the advice the old captain gave her, never date firefighters. Cassie can feel her resolve slipping and means risking it all. The only job she's ever loved like hell to become. She's worked like hell to become. Katherine Centers thinks she's inspired, a heartfelt healing tour de force about the strength of vulnerability, the nourishing magic of forgiveness, and the life-changing power of defining courage, at least for yourself. So yeah, this is the book about the girl who has the mother who has the brain tumor, and then the main character in What You Wish For is the one who has the seizure disorder. So I kind of messed up my descriptions. Sorry about that. But yes, I gave both of these books 4 stars, and I'm very excited to read her new book that is coming out in the summer. It's called The Rom-Commers. And Haley Pham has already given a predicted 5-star review of this book, so that's why I'm so super excited to read it. And yeah, that's it for today. I will be back with another reading update probably after Valentine's Day, so stay tuned for further reading updates on the 18th, and then my February wrap-up video will be out by the 27th. Have a great Valentine's Day, everybody.